Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Monday. Today we are comparing Bitcoin to the early days of the internet for a couple of different reasons. Of course, both are examples of emerging technologies, and quite similarly within that first decade, as some of you may remember, it was clear that the internet was going to be used for commerce, things like interpersonal communications, marketing, and education. That's on Coindesk.com. Here on FXStreet.com, we'll have a look at how Bitcoin's intrinsic value is below the market price according to JP Morgan's strategists, and the gap between the intrinsic value suggests that Bitcoin is on the risk of a greater breakdown. You also have three major factors, according to Fundstrat co-founder and Bitcoin bull Thomas Lee, that are suggesting Bitcoin may double in 2020. This is based on findings from the firm's 2020 crypto outlook. We'll also have a look on the same website, Be in Crypto, at how Bitcoin option calls indicate that the price could hit $12,000 in June. Let's first, however, take a snapshot look at the market. We are on CoinMarketCap.com, where the total market cap is $217 billion. Right now, things are more or less flat since yesterday. Bitcoin trading at $8,141, down only 0.06% since yesterday in the last 24 hours, with the dominance at 68.1%. You're on Coindesk.com. Is Bitcoin in 2020 really like the early internet? Well, it's a cliche at this point that you've likely heard before, but comparing Bitcoin to, quote, the early days of the internet still has value since they're both examples of emerging technologies. In 1994, the New York Times reported that companies were, quote, rushing in to set up shop via the World Wide Web, although the user experience was still slow and crude. So just like blockchain technologies, the early internet companies ran into scaling issues. And the 1994 Times report described the web as, quote, already showing signs of suffering from its own success as crowds compete for access to popular databases. Yet, people were already starting to think about subscription paywalls for content distribution. Fast forwarding now more than 25 years to today, Blockstream alumnus and founder of the Blockchain Commons, Christopher Allen, said he is, quote, concerned about the lack of Bitcoin adoption at this stage, which is why he's so optimistic about scaling solutions like the Lightning Network. Quote, Lightning does have the potential to be where you buy your steak and bread, Allen said. Until you buy your bread or steak with Bitcoin, you're going to have to convert to some other currency, no matter how good it is, as a censorship-resistant medium. Marco Piraboom, a Dell alumnus and Linux veteran who is also currently the Decred community's new systems development lead, agreed with Allen that the internet was once built by idealist young men who wanted to, quote, uplift humanity, and this is not unlike what crypto adherents are trying to accomplish today. Quote, I'm extremely disappointed with where we are today, Piraboom said. The amount of snooping the government is doing, I didn't anticipate. More cryptography early on would have done the internet a lot of good, and more advocacy as well. And much like the internet, my hope is that with Bitcoin and with altcoins, you're going to have technologies and services that are going to be emergent in nature. What I mean by that is back in 1994, since that's, let's say, the year that we've been discussing, nobody had any idea really that you'd have things like social networks, like you'd have services such as the one you're enjoying right now, YouTube. These are things that kind of came about due to market demand and organic consumer trends and habits. We understood what the internet was at a technical level. We knew it was a means of communication and information exchange, but it then later evolved in a much more significant way, in an organic way, in an emergent way that nobody ever really anticipated. And it's the hope that I have, along with many others, presumably this author as well, that that'll be the case for Bitcoin and altcoins. We're not quite sure what the full potential is yet. We're trying to lay out the technology as best we can to set ourselves up for that organic evolution of the space in the future. But it's anybody's guess as to what form that'll take. Hey, if you have any insights or suggestions, let us know exactly where we're going to go in the comments below. In the news as well, here on FXStreet.com, Bitcoin intrinsic value is on the rise as anticipation builds regarding CME options launch. So in brief here, Bitcoin's intrinsic value is below the market price according to JP Morgan's strategists, and the gap between the intrinsic value suggests that Bitcoin is on the rise of more breakdown. Quote, there has been a step increase in the activity of the underlying CME futures contract. Pani Gertzoglu of JP Morgan added, this unusually strong activity over the past few days likely reflects the high anticipation among market participants of the option contract. JP Morgan says that Bitcoin's intrinsic value has been growing. Despite the growth, the value is still falling beneath the market price, according to Penny Gertzoglu. Quote, the market price has declined by nearly 40% from its peak, while the intrinsic value has risen by about 10%, and that gap has not yet been fully closed, suggesting some downside risk remains. Of course, this is all in the context of a report that was published by Bloomberg, and it's anticipating, or the suggestion is that there's an anticipation of mounting enthusiasm across the market regarding the soon-to-launch CME group options. I have to find myself siding with JP Morgan here, despite really the underlying fundamentals of Bitcoin being stronger and stronger. The network metrics will suggest that we are in an increasingly solid position. Well, what really then is the difference between now and the price highs that we saw in summer of 2019? I can't think of any personally, so this gap is an astute observation as I see it. Here on beincrypto.com, Bitcoin will double in 2020, and that's according to a leading research firm. And that firm, of course, is Fundstrat Capital, of course. So we are talking about Thomas Lee, citing three major factors. Company co-founder and Bitcoin bull Thomas Lee took to Twitter with the findings from the firm's 2020 crypto outlook. Tom published the following. We published our 2020 crypto outlook and made the full report available for our clients. Bottom line, financial markets tend to discount 1 to 3 months and maybe 6 months max. So highest probability is happening, not priced in. The full version is reserved for company clients, but Lee gave us a teaser stating that there is a strong probability that Bitcoin will see 100% gains in 2020, which otherwise translates into a doubling. From current levels, that prediction would put it at a height of $16,000 before the end of the year. And there are a couple of major factors that go into that prediction. One is the halving that is upcoming on May 13th, according to the current countdown. Lee is confident that the halving has not yet been priced in and will lead to a surge at some time later this year. Another major reason behind the prediction was geopolitical risk. Recent price movements, which have been highly correlated to traditional store of value assets such as gold, are clear evidence that Bitcoin is becoming a safe haven, and this narrative is likely to continue as the year progresses, with, let's face it, geopolitical and economic tensions rising across the globe. And finally, at reason number 3, the market strategy research firm noted that an approaching U.S. election could actually be bullish for cryptocurrencies. Lee did not expand on these findings, but they could be related to crypto-friendly politicians and the notion of the U.S. finally getting its fingers out with regards to regulatory framework. There are still some major contenders, certainly on the Democratic side, such as Andrew Yang, for example, who speak very highly of cryptocurrency. And you never know, at this point, it could become a talking point as we continue along to the election in November. Let us know if you think of another reason, but those are 3 big ones, again, according to Tom Lee and Fundstrat. Finally, for today, also on beincrypto.com, Bitcoin option calls indicate price could hit $12,000 in June. Not to spend too much time on this issue, but if you haven't heard about the news, looking at the cryptocurrency derivatives exchange FXT, they've revealed that a number of call options for high-priced Bitcoin after the halving. Options now differ slightly from futures in that the investor is not obliged to sell the contract when it expires. For these contracts to be profitable, Bitcoin price must be above $12,430 by June 25th, and investors seem confident that it will be, and it very well could be. Today is January 13th, and it's a big institutional day because products such as the CME Bitcoin options contracts are going live. Previous launches such as backed Bitcoin options in September have been slightly underwhelming in terms of market reaction, and the same is likely to be the case today. Nevertheless, it is the 13th. We wanted you to know about that. So as announced by @CME Group here on Twitter, options on Bitcoin futures are coming on January 13th, bringing greater capital efficiencies and flexibilities in managing Bitcoin price risk. Will it have a dramatic impact on the market? I don't think so personally. However, it's something to keep in mind. Keep this on the back burner. And as always, we'll continue to move forward and track prices accordingly. Well, that about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications. Don't forget about our giveaway this upcoming Saturday. We are giving away another CryptoTag Zeus starter kit. You got to make sure you're subscribed to Altcoin Buzz. You got to like all videos between both giveaways and comment. We will select a comment at random. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Monday, but have a great one, everybody. And as always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.